Mars Colony 7 sat on the red plains of Mars like a metal fist. The colony had grown in 5 years from a research station to a full human settlement. 4,000 people lived, worked, and built their lives 200 million kilometers from Earth. Captain Daniel Hayes walked through the colony's central hub. He was a military man, built solid and careful. His uniform showed the rank of Earth's Space Force, and his eyes showed the weight of protecting 4,000 lives on an alien world. The colony's medical wing had called him. 4 colonists were missing. Dr. Lisa met him in the corridor. She was thin, focused, and worried. Her hands moved as she talked, showing the anxiety she could not hide in her voice. "They are gone," Lisa said without greeting. "Completely gone, no traces, no bodies, no equipment failures, they just vanished." Daniel listened. He had learned long ago that the first information was often the most important. 3 weeks ago, a mining engineer named Robert had not returned from the deep sector. 7 days later, a research assistant named disappeared from the laboratory, then vanished from the greenhouse sector. And 5 days ago, James disappeared from the water recycling station. "All different locations," Lisa continued. "All different times of day. No connection between them except that they all worked in different departments." Daniel's mind worked through the problem. 4 people did not vanish without a reason. Something was taking them. "Show me the sites," he said. They moved through the colony. Daniel looked at the mining sector where Robert had been working. The equipment still ran. The workstation still held his notes. It was as if Robert had stepped outside for a moment and never returned. But the airlocks showed no breaches. The records showed no emergency pressure changes. Lisa pulled up data on her handheld device. The greenhouse sector is the same. The water recycling station is the same. Clean disappearances. No signs of struggle, nothing broken, nothing stolen. They just stop existing at their workstations. Daniel felt something cold move down his spine. This was not an accident. This was not a system failure. This was something else. Governor Richard Cooper called an emergency meeting. He was a political man, chosen to lead the colony because he could manage people and resources. Now he sat at the head of the conference table looking sick. "We need to report this to Earth," Cooper said. 4 missing colonists is serious. We need military support." Daniel sat across from him. "We will report it, but we need to know what happened first. If this is an external threat, Earth needs to know." "External?" Cooper's voice climbed. "What do you mean external? There is nothing out there but rock and dust." "There is space," Daniel said simply, "and there are the ships that come through space." They had arrived at Mars 3 weeks ago. They were tall beings, their skin like dark purple glass. They had been polite and formal. They wanted to study Mars, they said. They wanted to understand Earth's new colony. The Galactic Council had approved their visit. The colony had welcomed them. Daniel had hated it from the first moment. Something in the way they looked at humans was wrong. Not angry, not hostile. Worse, they looked at humans the way humans looked at interesting insects. "Get me the logs of the ship," Daniel ordered. "I want to know every time it was in orbit above the sites where colonists went missing." The answer came back in 30 minutes. The ship had been in direct orbital position above each disappearance location. Every single one. Cooper's face went white. "They took them. They actually took them." Daniel stood up, his hands pressed flat on the table. "We need proof. Then we need to send a message." Lisa rushed in with data from her team. She had been digging into the presence on Mars. "They have technology we cannot even measure, scanning equipment on their ship that goes far deeper than anything we have. They have been photographing everything, recording everything. The colony, the people, everything." "They were studying us," Daniel said. "It was not a question." A message arrived from the ship. Governor Cooper opened it. The words appeared on the screen cold and clear. The message was from a being called the Collector. It was translated perfectly into human language. We have collected 4 specimens from your population. They are interesting but fragile. They will be studied in our archives along with specimens from other young species. This is our right under the Galactic Council's old treaties. The humans may retrieve the bodies after our study is complete. Bodies, the word sat heavy in the room. Daniel felt something shift inside him, something hard and dangerous. They had not killed the colonists yet, but they had taken them. They had called them specimens. They had claimed the right to own human lives. He did not think about Earth's laws or protocols. He did not think about diplomatic channels. He thought about Robert and End and James. 4 humans taken by beings who did not see them as people. Daniel sat at the communication console. He opened the broadcast channel to all frequencies. He also opened it to the Galactic Council network. What he was about to do would be recorded. It would be heard across the galaxy. His voice was steady and clear when he spoke. You have taken our people. You have violated the laws of Earth and the treaties of the Galactic Council. We are giving you one warning. Release the colonists now. Return them safely to Mars. If you do not, we will come for you. We will cross the void. We will find you. And we will take back what is ours. This is not a negotiation. This is a promise. He cut the connection. The room went silent. Governor Cooper stared at Daniel with an expression of shock and fear. "What did you do?" Cooper asked quietly. "What have you done?" Daniel turned to face him. "I told the truth, and I made a promise humanity will keep." Far away on Earth, the message was received. It was recorded. It was studied. And in that moment, the galaxy learned something new about the human species. Humans would not accept the loss of their own. Humans would promise retribution. Humans would mean it. The ship left Mars orbit within 12 hours of hearing Daniel's warning. They accelerated toward deep space, moving toward there near the expanse. They did not respond to any communication. They simply ran. Earth's government did not wait for diplomatic channels or council approval. Admiral received direct orders from the president himself. Recover the colonists. Do whatever is necessary. Use force if required. The ship named Endeavor was the fastest vessel humanity had ever built. It was small compared to the vessel, but it was built for speed and for war. Daniel Hayes stood on the bridge as the Endeavor broke free from Earth orbit. Around him, his crew moved with purpose. Every person knew the mission. Every person knew the stakes. Commander Alex sat in the pilot's seat. She was calm, her hands moving across the controls with absolute certainty. Alex had been flying military ships for 15 years. She could make a vessel dance through space the way most people walked. "Getting a lock on their ship," Alex said. "They are moving fast, but not faster than we can match. They are heading straight for the expanse. They know we are coming." Lieutenant stood at tactical. He was built wide and solid, with scars on his face from an accident when he was younger. Was the best combat officer in Earth's Space Force. He had fought in 3 different conflicts. He knew what it meant when weapons were charged and ships closed on each other. "Support vessels are in formation behind us," reported. "The carrier and the destroyer are staying on course. We are maintaining pursuit vectors." Daniel looked out at the black of space. The ship was a bright point on the sensors, moving away from him at incredible speed. But the Endeavor was faster. They would close the distance. It was only a matter of time. They sent a message after 16 hours of pursuit. Daniel listened to it on the bridge. The voice was calm and amused. It was the collector again. "Humans, you are pursuing us across the void for 4 specimens. This is illogical. The specimens are already in our care. They will be well treated and studied. You will never catch us. Your ship is old and primitive. Turn back and preserve your resources." Daniel sat forward in his chair. "Send a response, all frequencies." Alex adjusted the systems. The message would be broadcast on every channel they used, and also on the Galactic Emergency Network. This message would be heard by every species in the known galaxy. Daniel spoke clearly. We will not turn back. We will not negotiate. We will not rest. These are our people. We are coming for them. You can run, but we will catch you. And when we do, you will understand why you should have never touched a human." The words hung in the darkness between the stars. 30 hours later, they made a decision. A fleet of smaller defense ships broke away from their main vessel and moved to intercept the Endeavor. "Track them on the tactical display." His voice was steady when he reported, "5 hostile contacts closing fast. They are charging weapon systems." This was the moment. This was when words became action. This was when humanity proved it meant what it said. "All hands to battle stations," Daniel ordered. "Raise shields, charge all weapons." The Endeavor shook as the ships opened fire. Energy beams cut through space. The human ship took the impacts and the shields held. Alex moved the Endeavor with incredible skill. She twisted the vessel away from the incoming fire, accelerated through a gap between 2 attacking ships, and positioned them where their weapons could strike. "Firing," said, and the Endeavor returned fire. The ships were larger and had more weapons, but they were slow. They were built for control of space, for domination of slower vessels. They were not built for a pilot like Alex. One of the ships was hit directly. Its shields failed. The second hit penetrated the hull. The ship stopped firing and began to move erratically. The other 4 vessels broke off the attack. They accelerated toward their main ship, knowing they could not win against this opponent. Called out the status. Enemy fleet disengaging, pursuing at full speed. Daniel realized something in that moment. They had expected an easy fight. They had expected the human ship to run or surrender. They had not expected humans to fight with skill and determination. They had not expected humans to fight to win. "Stay on their tail," Daniel told Alex. "Do not let them break away." The pursuit continued. Days became weeks. The ship reached its destination in the expanse. It moved toward a planet surrounded by a ring of defense satellites and orbital platforms. This was the main vessel docked with the orbital station. The defense fleet moved to protect it, and the Endeavor came to a stop 2,000 kilometers away, blocked by superior numbers and superior technology. Daniel stood on the bridge looking at the planet below and the defenses around it. His colonists were down there. Somewhere on that world, 4 humans were being studied and cataloged like animals. They sent another message. The collector's voice was different now. There was something sharp in it, something like fear. "You have pursued us across the stars. You have fought our ships. You have done all this for 4 of your own. The Galactic Council will hear about this aggression. You are primitives playing with forces you do not understand. We will defend our world. You will not take what you have claimed." Daniel did not respond with words. Instead, he looked at his officers. "We are going in," he said. "Plan a rescue operation. We get those 4 colonists back or we do not come home. Begin preparations immediately." Around him, his crew nodded. No one questioned the order. No one suggested they turn back. They were humans. They had made a promise, and they would keep it no matter what it cost. In the darkness between the stars, humanity had become something new, not conquerors, not aggressors, but something more dangerous than either, a species that would not abandon its own, a species that meant what it said, a species that would cross the galaxy itself to keep its promises. They were about to learn what that meant. The research facility sat deep underground on there. It was a place of advanced technology and endless corridors. The 4 humans from Mars were kept in stasis chambers, their minds and bodies preserved in suspension while they studied them. But they had made a mistake. They had captured someone valuable. Dr. Sarah had been a research coordinator on Mars. She was smart and resourceful, and she was still awake in the facility, though confined in a holding area with other specimens from captured species. Sarah had watched the work. She had learned their routines. She had memorized the layout of the facility as much as she could from her cell, and she had waited for a chance. That chance came when Daniel Hayes and his team boarded a captured transport and entered the facility wearing stolen alien uniforms. Lieutenant led the infiltration team. He moved through the corridors with Ensign Richardson, a young communications specialist who had proven himself brilliant with computer systems. Behind them came two other soldiers and Daniel Hayes himself. The plan was simple because complicated plans fail. They would enter the facility, locate the four colonists, extract them, and get out. Speed and surprise were their only advantages against superior numbers. Handheld device connected to the facility's computer network. He worked quietly while kept watch. The young ensign's fingers moved across the screen, breaking through layers of security. "I am in," whispered. "The stasis chambers are in Sector 7, moving east from here 3 corridors down, then north, 20 meters from the main junction." They moved fast. The corridors were quiet. They did not expect enemies inside their own facility. They found the stasis chamber sector. Through the transparent walls they could see rows of preservation pods. Each one held a life form. Most were alien species that Daniel did not recognize, but 4 were human. Robert and James hung suspended in blue liquid, their bodies frozen in time. An alarm sounded. "They know we are here," said. He pulled his weapon. "Move fast, get the pods open." Ran to the control panel. His device connected to the system. Lines of code appeared on his screen. The security was strong but was faster. He had trained for this. He had prepared for this moment. The pods began to open. The blue liquid drained. The 4 humans gasped as their bodies woke for the first time in weeks. Their eyes opened to the sight of soldiers in uniforms helping them down from the pods. James fell to the ground. His body was weak from stasis. Daniel caught him. "We are human," Daniel said. "We came from Earth. We are taking you home." Robert coughed, his lungs pulling in air for the first time in weeks, stared at them like they were not real. But there was no time for explanation. The facility was filling with alarm sounds. Guards were coming. "Move," ordered. He held his weapon ready, standing between the team and the incoming threat. They ran through the corridors. Daniel supported James, whose legs barely held him, helped Robert along, ran on her own, her survival instinct overcoming her weakness. A guard appeared at the corridor intersection, fired without hesitation. The guard fell. It was the first time a human had killed in direct combat. They reached the exit point. Was behind them, running with his device still connected to the facility network through a wireless link. As they moved, he continued to access the system. "I have located the records," said between breaths. "They have been studying human pain tolerance, human emotional bonding. They wanted to know why we care about individuals, why we will sacrifice for strangers. They could not understand it." "They will understand it now," Daniel said. The transport ship was where they had left it. Alex was waiting in the pilot's seat. She had the engines hot and ready to go. More guards appeared behind them, weapons fired. The transport shook as energy beams hit the hull. But Alex was already moving. She lifted the vessel and accelerated toward the sky. Behind them, the facility fell away. "We have them," Daniel said into the communication system. "All 4 colonists are secure, moving to extraction point." Above them, the Endeavour was waiting. They had fought their way past the orbital defenses. The ship was damaged but still flying. The transport docked with the Endeavour. Daniel carried James into the medical bay. The 4 colonists were placed in stasis pods, the safe kind, to recover from their ordeal during the return journey. Daniel stood in the communication center. He opened a connection to the facility. He knew someone would be listening. The collector would be listening. His voice was calm and cold. You took our people. You called them specimens. You thought you had the right. You were wrong. We have taken them back. We have violated your facility and your security. We have killed your guards, and there is nothing you can do to stop us from leaving with what is ours. But before we go, I want you to understand something. You made a mistake when you thought you could take humans without consequences. You made a bigger mistake when you thought we could not reach you. And you will make your final mistake if you ever touch another human again. We gave you one warning. We will come for you. Now you know we meant it." He cut the connection. The Endeavor turned toward deep space. The battle fleet moved with them. The defenses tried to pursue, but they were damaged and disorganized. They could not catch the human ships. Daniel stood on the bridge watching the fall away. Around him, his crew was quiet. They had succeeded. 4 humans were safe. They were going home. But something had changed in the galaxy in that moment. They had learned that humans would cross the void for their own, that humans would fight against impossible odds, that humans would storm the heart of an enemy world to bring back their people. And the galaxy was beginning to understand that humanity was not a species to be used, not a species to be collected, not a species to be taken advantage of. Humanity was a species that would come for you. No matter how far you ran, no matter how strong your defenses were, humans would come. The Endeavor broke through Earth's atmosphere with the colonists in its medical bay. News of the rescue spread across the world in minutes. Within hours, every media outlet on Earth was broadcasting the story. 4 colonists had been taken by an alien species. Humanity had sent a military ship across the galaxy. Humanity had fought alien forces. Humanity had won. They had been underestimated, and the galaxy was still learning what that mistake would cost them. Admiral stood before the United Nations Security Council in New York. The room was full of world leaders and military officials. They stared at her with expressions of pride, fear, and uncertainty. "The mission was successful," said. "All 4 colonists were recovered with minimal casualties. Our forces engaged military vessels and achieved victory in direct combat. We breached their orbital defenses and penetrated their surface facility. They attempted to prevent our departure. They failed. We are home." The room erupted in noise. Half the people were cheering. Half were arguing about what this meant for Earth's diplomatic position. President James raised his hand for silence. He was a careful man, chosen for his ability to think through complex problems. But this situation was beyond complex. This was new territory for humanity. "What do they want?" asked. "They sent a message 16 hours ago," said. "They are demanding compensation for the facility damage. They are demanding the return of the colonists. They are calling humanity hostile and unstable. They are threatening to bring the matter before the Galactic Council." Ambassador stood up. He was Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, a position that had been created only 5 years ago when Earth joined the larger community of galactic species. His face showed the strain of what was coming. "The Galactic Council will convene tomorrow," said. "Every species will be watching to see how Earth responds. Our credibility depends on what we do next." "We should negotiate," Dr. Murphy said. She was a diplomat and a voice for peaceful solutions. "We can offer compensation. We can agree to restrictions on our space activities. We can apologize for the military action." Admiral shook her head firmly. "We were attacked first. Our citizens were taken. Our response was justified. If we apologize, we show weakness. Every predatory species in the galaxy will see that they can take humans without consequences." "But if we do not negotiate, we look aggressive," Murphy countered. "We look like we are a threat to everyone." President listened to both sides. Then he made a decision that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. "We tell the truth," he said. "We show the evidence of the abductions. We show that they took our people first. We justify our military response as necessary and proportional. And we deliver a message to thee and every other species watching. If anyone takes a human again, we will respond with force." The council debated through the night. By dawn, the decision was final. Humanity would stand firm. The Galactic Council met in a chamber in orbital space above a neutral world. Representatives from hundreds of species gathered in the vast circular room. They had come to judge the humans and their behavior. Ambassador stood in the human presentation space. Behind him, visual displays showed evidence of the abductions, photos of the 4 colonists before they disappeared, data from the rescue operation, records from the facility itself. He spoke to the council with a calm voice that carried through the chamber. 4 human citizens were taken without consent or justification. They claimed the right under ancient treaties. Those treaties were written before humanity existed. They were written about species that accepted being studied and collected. Humanity will not. We sent notice to them. We warned them to release our people or face consequences. They chose to resist. We responded with military force. We recovered our citizens. This is not aggression. This is defense of our right to exist as a free species. The representative, a tall being with skin like dark glass, stood to respond. The humans are primitive and unstable, they said. They used military force against a superior civilization. They invaded our space. They killed our personnel. They must be punished. The Galactic Council must establish limits on human expansion and military development. Opened a communication channel to Earth. Daniel Hayes appeared on the visual display. He stood in his uniform, composed and direct. "I am Captain Daniel Hayes of Earth Space Force," he said, his voice carried across the council chamber by translation systems. "I ordered the rescue operation that recovered our colonists. I do not apologize for that decision. I am here to deliver Earth's official position to every species in this council." He paused. The chamber went silent. "To thee and to every other species listening, Earth is giving you one clear message. Any attempt to take human citizens will be met with military response. Any species that violates human sovereignty will face consequences. We do not seek conflict. We seek to live in peace. But we will not allow our people to be taken. We will not negotiate when our citizens are threatened. We will come for them. We will cross the galaxy. We will bring them home. If you remember nothing else, remember this. We gave you one warning. We will come for you." The image cut off. The council chamber was completely silent. Every species in the room understood what they had just heard. A young species had just announced to the galaxy that it would not accept mistreatment, that it would use force to protect its own, that it would pursue its enemies across interstellar distances. Some species felt fear, some felt respect, some felt concern about this new variable in galactic politics. The representative tried to respond, but other species began to speak. A member of the ancient race stood up. They violated the basic principles of peaceful coexistence. They attempted to enslave a newly contacted species without provocation or permission. The human response was proportional and justified. I vote to support Earth's position and impose sanctions on the. More species voted with the. By an overwhelming margin, the Galactic Council ruled that they were at fault. The humans were justified. They were to pay compensation to Earth for the illegal abductions and facility violations. The vote would echo through the galaxy. Every species learned what it meant to respect human sovereignty. Every species learned that humans would fight for their own. Every species learned to be careful with humans. On Earth, President watched the news from the council chamber. He realized that humanity had just taken a step forward in the galactic community, not as peaceful explorers or compliant citizens, but as a species that would protect itself, as a species that could not be victimized. The age of humanity accepting mistreatment was over. The age of humanity defending itself had begun. And in space between the stars, the warning spread through every channel, every network, every communication system in the known galaxy. We will come for you. Those 5 words became the definition of humanity in the galactic consciousness. And everyone who heard them understood that the humans meant every word. 1 year had passed since the rescue. Captain Daniel Hayes stood in the Earth Space Force Academy watching a class of young pilots train. The generation of military officers studied the Endeavor's mission. They analyzed every decision. They learned from every move. The rescue had become required study in academies across the galaxy. Daniel was not the same man who had warned a year ago. Something had changed in him. He had become the symbol of humanity's new strength. He had become the man who proved that humans would not be taken. He had become famous across the galaxy in ways he had never wanted. The 4 recovered colonists were alive and recovering. Robert had returned to mining operations on Mars, had chosen to stay on Earth, was writing a book about her time in the facility. James had joined the military. He wanted to help ensure no other human would ever be taken again. Commander Alex ran her fingers across the tactical display of the Endeavor. The ship had been repaired and upgraded after the rescue mission. She was faster now. She was stronger, and she was a symbol of human capability. They had learned that Earth's oldest technology was better than they expected. Alex had learned that she could fly circles around their best pilots. They maintained distance from human space now. Their ships no longer approached Earth or Mars. No more research expeditions to human colonies. No more studies of human specimens. The ancient species that had collected other beings for thousands of years had been stopped by a young species that would not be taken. But something else was happening in the galaxy. Species that had never paid attention to humans were now watching carefully. The young, still learning their place in the galactic community, began to study human military tactics. The ancient civilization, which had maintained peace for 10,000 years, started to wonder what humanity would become. Species that had never seen a human before now asked detailed questions about human behavior, human strength, and human determination. A message came from an unexpected source. It was from a young scholar named Al. He had been studying at the time of the rescue operation. He had watched the humans come to his. He had seen his species fail to stop them, and something in that failure had changed the way he saw the galaxy. Daniel opened the message in his private quarters. The words were carefully chosen, translated perfectly into human language. Captain Hayes, I'm a researcher I was studying at the time of the human invasion. I have been thinking about what happened since that moment. My people made an error. We did not see humans as capable of the actions you took. We did not understand that some species will cross the void itself for their own. We thought strength came only from technology and numbers. You proved that determination and unity matter more. I wanted to tell you that some in my society now understand this. Some of us believe that we're wrong. I wanted to apologize on behalf of those who have come to see the truth. The humans came for their own. This is an action that deserves respect, not capture. Daniel read the message 3 times. He did not respond immediately. There was nothing to say that was better than silence, but he saved the message, and he showed it to his crew. A year after the rescue, the Galactic Council held a ceremony to recognize Earth standing in the galactic community. It was a formal event, hosted on a neutral station. President attended, Admiral attended, Ambassador attended, and Captain Daniel Hayes attended. The council leader, an ancient being called who had seen 10,000 years of galactic history, addressed the assembled species. In 1 year, humanity has changed the way the galaxy sees strength, said. You came to us as explorers and scientists. You became something more. You showed the galaxy that some bonds cannot be broken, that some lines cannot be crossed without consequence, that determination and unity matter more than superior numbers. They learned this lesson through their failure. Other species have learned from their example. Humanity has earned respect not through conquest or dominance, but through fierce protection of your own. Daniel stood and acknowledged the words, but he felt no pride. He felt the weight of what humanity had become. They were no longer the new species seeking acceptance. They were the species that would come for you. They were the species that would bring the fight to you if you touched their people. It was not what he had wanted, but it was what was necessary. 3 months later, Earth launched construction of 10 new military vessels. Each one was an upgrade on the Endeavor's design. Each one was faster and stronger. The incident had shown the world that space could be hostile, that aliens could not be trusted completely, that humans needed the capability to defend themselves. But something different was happening too. A joint military training exercise was announced. For the first time in galactic history, human soldiers would train alongside soldiers from other species. Commander Alex would lead the training program. Species that had once seen humans as weak were now eager to learn from human tactical methods. A young human girl, maybe 6 years old, approached Captain Daniel Hayes at a community gathering on Mars. She was the daughter of a mining engineer. Her father had told her about Daniel, about the man who came to bring back the missing colonists, about the man who warned the galaxy that humans would come for you. "Will they come back?" the girl asked. Her voice was small and serious. Daniel knelt down to her level. He looked at her young face. He thought about all the children on Mars and Earth and the colonies spreading through space. He thought about what he had promised to protect. "No," he said, "they will not come back because we gave them one warning. We told them we would come for you, and now they know we meant it." The girl nodded. She understood. Her generation would grow up knowing that humanity was strong, that humanity would defend itself, that there was no enemy too distant or too powerful if it threatened their own. Daniel stood up and looked toward the sky. Above the red plains of Mars, Earth hung in the darkness. Humanities, the species that came for you. They had made one final mistake. They had not believed that a young species would have the courage and determination to cross the galaxy for 4 citizens. They had not understood that humans would make promises they would keep, that humans would sacrifice everything to bring home their own. And now, across the galactic network, the message remained clear. "We will come for you." 5 words that had changed everything. 5 words that would echo through history. 5 words that defined what humanity had become. A research facility lay damaged and empty. On their ships, no human specimens would ever be collected again. On their councils, debates continued about the humans and what they represented. And in the spaces between the stars, humanity built faster ships and trained better soldiers, not from a desire to conquer or dominate, but from understanding the simple truth: we will come for our own. We will come for you. And the galaxy had better remember that. The age of humanity accepting mistreatment was gone. The age of humanity as protectors of their own had arrived, and the warning stood eternal across the void. "We gave you one warning. We will come for you."